to the Peapod. This is a podcast about peace. I'm Teri Angel, also known as Mama Peace, and I'm delighted that you've chosen to spend some time with us today. Imagine with me for a moment a world without constant conflict, a world where respect for diversity is the norm, a world where understanding replaces fear. I know it sounds like a dream, but that's the world that we dare to dream of. And that's the world we strive to build here, one conversation at a time, inside the Peapod. Here at the Peapod, we believe peace isn't just the absence of conflict, it's the presence of justice, it's the celebration of diversity, and most importantly, it's something that begins with each one of us. The late President John F. Kennedy stated, "And is not peace, in the last analysis, basically a matter of human rights? The right to live out our lives without fear of devastation, the right to breathe air as nature provided it, the right of future generations to a healthy existence." So let's begin this journey of manifesting peace in our world, shall we? Here at the Peapod, we don't have all the answers, but we promise to ask the right questions. I have two beautiful guests with me today. They're my um, wonderful peace girls. The three of us are working diligently at 10 Million for World Peace to make things happen. But before I bring them in, I'd like to read just a little bit more of that speech from John F. Kennedy back in 1963. I'm talking about genuine peace, the kind of peace that makes life on earth worth living, the kind that enables men and nations to grow and to hope and to build a better life for their children. Not merely peace for Americans, but peace for all men and women. Not merely peace in our time, but peace for all time. Let us examine our attitude toward peace itself. Too many of us think it is impossible. Too many think it is unreal. But that is a dangerous, defeatist belief. It leads to the conclusion that war is inevitable, that mankind is doomed, and that we are gripped by forces we cannot control. We need not accept that view. Our problems are man-made, therefore they can be solved by man, and man can be as big as he wants. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. Man's reason and spirit have often solved the seeming unsolvable, and we believe they can do it again. With such a peace, there will still be quarrels and conflicting interests, as there are within families and nations. World peace, like community peace, does not require that each man love his neighbor. It requires only that they live together in mutual tolerance, submitting their disputes to a just and peaceful settlement. And history teaches us that enmities between nations, as between individuals, do not last forever. However fixed our likes and dislikes may seem, the tide of time and events will often bring surprising changes in the relations between nations and neighbors. So let us persevere. Peace need not be impractical, and war need not be inevitable. By defining our goal more clearly, by making it seem more manageable and less remote, we can help all people to see it, to draw hope from it, and to move irresistibly toward it. Ah, what beautiful, amazing words from this amazing man, and still so relevant today, isn't it? So welcome to the Peapod, Kumari, Mullen, and MarBeth, Dunn. Ladies, I am so excited to be here with you. And I just
Hey,
Hi, I just want to take in those words. I love hearing him speak the words because I he was such a great orator and I love hearing him speak anyway. But just the words themselves give me chills. I just want to see what you all think about that speech that he gave.
I watched the movie earlier and it just oh, really, really touched me in a very, very profound way.
I
Yeah.
love how he said the problems are human made and therefore they can be solved. It was like giving
Yeah.
a lot of us, I think, have given over power in so many ways, to the governments and the politicians and the countries and like who are we? And it's like he kind of resets the power paradigm in all of that to give us that ability to solve the problems we've created.
Yeah, that we created exactly. And I loved how he put it that way,
Yeah.
you know. And yeah, and we have the power to make the difference. We've seen it. MarBeth, would you share? I know a lot of people have heard it already, but share what happens, those statistics that we have seen
Yeah,
with our own eyes.
absolutely. Our launch, a 3 week launch in September from the 1st to the 21st, which was World Peace Day. Um, we took statistics from the ACLED. It's basically the stats. It's an online database that gives you the stats from violence all over the world. Active combat, I think, are the first two words of the ACLED. And you just punch in the dates, which I did. And I didn't see that much of a difference for our 3 weeks. So I went back a month to August 1st to September 21st. Violence against civilians dropped 38%. There were six different types of violence that they measured: riots and demonstrations and protests and all different things, including wars. And altogether, the level of violence dropped over 30%, 30.4% when you average them all out. I think that's pretty amazing.
Hmm.
And I know we weren't alone, but we started before those 21 days. So we had been doing weekly meditations before that, as many other groups as well were putting their beautiful energy in. But I was so heartened by those numbers because at the very time that we were announcing it, Israel and the Middle East was blowing up, and I think everybody just tanked. And it was so encouraging to see that globally we didn't tank. This erupted in the context of a lot of violence actually.
Yes, it
Shifting.
erupted after these numbers.
Yeah.
And we had actually done our meditation for only 3 weeks in September. We started up again in October, but we weren't focused on the Middle East. We were, kind of focused on world leaders,
Yeah.
and that's when this happened. So I know that we just need to keep on. As Einstein said, you cannot solve an issue with the consciousness that created it.
Yeah.
And when we meet in the unified field of consciousness, miracles can happen. We've seen it, and we totally believe it.
Oh, I totally believe it. I'm so excited about our mission. You know, this came to be in February of this year. So we've been
Yeah.
at this for most of the year.
Yep.
And and there's still such an excitement about it. And even the ones that are following us and participating every day, I still see excitement with them to have this happen.
It's exciting, to know that we're not at the mercy of other forces. We can take power and unite with others in this unified field. And there we do have power. And we've seen the statistics. And also going back to 2018, with the World Miracle Peace Experiment, our levels of violence dropped over 20%.
Mm.
It was actually higher, but that was being conservative. And that was focused on the Middle East, as as well as now.
Well, this project has been an answer to my prayers, because lately, with world events seeming to be spiraling, a lot of people are having a lot of fear about things. And I, I used to be a political activist. I used to be very active. And since my spiritual awakening and journey happened, I've been more and more focused on my inner state, and sharing ways to bring that inner peace, that inner joy, that inner happiness. And yet, because of everything happening in the world, I thought maybe it's not enough right now. There needs to be a way that I can contribute who I am and what I do at a greater impact. And so I'm so happy I met you.
There aren't
Well,
any
we are
accidents.
happy. We're ecstatic that you are with us, Kumari. One insight that I had with the meditation today, I'm like MarBeth. I don't plan the meditation. It's just whatever comes, the angels just bring the words. And today they focused on the root chakra and bringing the energy up from the earth to the root chakra, and especially of our world leaders. And when you think about it, think about those nations that are fighting and in conflict with other nations. Their root chakra must be a mess.
Well,
Because,
first of all, yeah, that would be
yeah,
fear,
exactly.
insecurity,
Hmm.
anger.
Yeah,
All of these are root chakra, tribal.
right?
These
Yeah,
are all root chakra issues. So that's very interesting. And it's certainly, something wonderful that we can be doing. Also, land blessings.
yes, exactly. So I think doing chakra work with these world leaders is going to make an impact. I really do.
But yeah, we
So,
can
so,
definitely go
so
ahead.
it's so interesting you say that about the chakras. Not this meditation I did yesterday, but the one before that. I was focusing on the heart chakra, and all of the light workers sharing love and sharing appreciation, because a lot of people don't get to love for some of the politicians. So it's like just appreciating that they stepped up, that they're taking responsibility, just increments. And I tuned into the world leaders at that point, and I actually felt that that was a new feeling for many of them. Many of them had gone into the political arena because they needed more approval. They needed to feel more appreciation. And so it felt like, baby bird, just the beginnings of learning to fly. They were feeling like their heart chakra just filling up, and it felt very new for a lot of them, which I thought
Yeah.
was so fascinating.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be interesting to do some healing chakra work
Yeah.
for the leaders?
Hmm.
Because there's a lot of you know
Just,
anger,
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
hatred,
Dysfunction, I meant to say. A lot of dysfunction.
fear. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And,
And
very interesting.
our reaction to them is usually not stellar. We get all in it because we don't like the policies or the trajectory of uh, their path, and so it's hard not to feel not represented, or also angry and resentful at the way they're not listening to the public. So I think early on, one of my teachers said, you people in America, she's an Indian woman, you don't know how to support your leaders. And a lot of people left at that time because they thought she was being, whoever was in office was a Republican, and so all the Democrats took offense. But she wasn't being political. She was talking about this, that we weren't sending our leadership once they're elected. We can duke it out in the primaries, but once you have a country leader, stop with all the negativity and start
Exactly. Support them.
adding your support. And we have great power in that, but most of us don't see that, and we think it's random, or it doesn't impact anybody to be resentful or angry or spouting off all the time. So I've had to stop myself from not
yeah.
from my opinion or what I think is right, not that, but the resentment and anger and the negativity that
Hmm.
flows easily after that. I'm trying to catch those moments. But I think collectively, as we do what MarBeth and Teri are saying, do our own chakra work, maybe in the healing circles, but also offer that to the leaders.
Yeah, I agree.
I
And, we have several things that we're going to be doing. One of those is the educational component to teach people about the fact that our energy does matter. Whatever we say, think, feel, do, it all matters in the whole world. So that's part of what, one of the things that we're looking at doing as the organization 10 Million for World Peace is have an educational component to it and do some teaching about
just
energy and what we can do and how we can really be more confident in ourselves and who we are, because that will make a difference in what energy we're putting out into the world.
and it's true, like we all are carrying baggage of some sort, because of our own histories and whatever, we do carry um, trauma, in our DNA about war. We all carry this, and it's very interesting. This war just triggered a lot of things in me. I was at my chiropractor's earlier today, and she cleared a lot of that. She uses like the net chiropractic. It's
Mm-hmm.
really good. And I just feel so much better. I didn't realize how much I was carrying from this war. I didn't, I mean, I knew, I definitely felt there was some things going on with me. But sometimes, when we try to work on our own stuff, it's a lot easier, to work on somebody else's, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was just really wonderful to, just feel like, oh, I didn't realize like how like condensed I was because it was old past stuff.
The more open we become, the more sensitive we become to everybody else's vibration. Of course, Terry was saying we live in a vibrational universe, so everything is impacting us. And if we don't develop, I'm so grateful that I've been at this for 33 years. You guys have been 30, 40 years yourselves. I think I have so many tools to manage my stuff, and I still get hung up or triggered or sad and I think, what are people doing that don't have these techniques and tools? How do
I
they
know. I was
possibly
thinking about that today. Like I was just feeling so much gratitude. Yes, thank you. Because
even
a
with
lot of
them?
these
It can be
feelings are just not easy to access.
exactly.
You know that something's wrong, but you don't know what.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Yeah.
we're responding to the requests from participants and volunteers to go deeper. To go deeper into how do you maintain this attitude of gratitude and love and compassion and peace more consistently? How do you manage your vibration more optimally? And so we're responding to that. I think Terry was starting to share what we have in mind for the future.
Yeah, that's just one of our components is the educational part. I'm really excited about the healing circles
The
and
master healing circle.
the master healing circles. And I would love for each of us here to take a few minutes just to explain our healing, what we do as energy healers, and just share what you see your part in that healing circle to be. So, who would like to lead off with that?
Hmm. Okay, I have no idea what I'm going to say. Um, so years ago, I was an attorney and I was working as a civil rights attorney for legal aid, and I wanted to help those who didn't have a voice and didn't have the money to be represented. And little did I know that the spirit had a whole other plan for me. And my father died of lung cancer very quickly, and I followed the breadcrumbs, and one led to a meditation master. And shortly after I met this amazing meditation master, I mean, my worlds were colliding. It was all logical and rational over here. Anyway, opened up this whole new realm. And very shortly after, I ended up my healing channels were opened through the meditations and divine transmissions coming from her. It was amazing. They call it Shaktipad in the East, the awakening of the spiritualized energy within, the chi. And I started knowing that I could heal. My hands were vibrating. I would get told I can remove this headache or this pain in the back or whatever. But I had these immature ideas like I have to be taking pain, or I have to be a good enough person that I'll suffer for their healing. I had mixed up ideas. So I thought, well, this isn't working so well because they feel better, but now I have a migraine. So when somebody came to the spiritual community teaching Reiki, I had poo-pooed it before. I said, this is not, I literally said these words, that is not logical. When
Right.
someone described their Reiki experience, that was me. That's not logical. And a month later, I'm in class, because I needed to understand about how healing happened and what I needed to educate. And in that class, I was told, this is your path. And very quickly, I left law. And I think I was in law school longer than I was actually working with the debt to show for it. But anyway, so I became a Reiki practitioner for many years, eventually Reiki master to that teaching. And then I always was with a spiritual teacher as well. So I lived in ashrams. I learned all sorts of meditative techniques, pranayama, breathwork, many chants and mudras, and all the ancient wisdom teachings. And I studied something called energy alchemy for 8.5 years, and I've added grounded ascension work where we were aligning the physical and spiritual bodies. Goes on and on. I won't bore you, but I don't remember how you asked it, Teri, but I thought, I don't know how to describe what I do now. I feel like I am Reiki, like I am universal life force. I don't feel like I'm doing anything, but I'm becoming truly my soulful self. I'm becoming who I am. And in that space, I can guide somebody else to that. It became very intuitive with Reiki. All sorts of things just popped open. So I've channeled angelic messages and angelic and light beings, and all sorts of things are possible in a healing session. So I never know exactly what will come through, but yeah. Yeah. I think I've talked enough.
Well, that is just beautiful, and I'm so excited to have you on board with us doing the healings. All healing does come from the inside, as you were saying. We are facilitators, so we allow the space to open up, and we hold space for others. Yeah, when I first received the message from someone who was channeling my spirit guides, and they told me I was going to be doing healings, and I'm like, you must be talking to somebody else.
Oh yeah, I was a dud in class. Everybody else was getting some kind of tingles in their hands, and eight
Yeah.
out of 9 people were tingling. Guess who was not? I felt nothing. I was like, great, this is my path, this is my purpose, and I'm a total dud. That went on 2 days of dudness, and then the final day,
Right.
I got a message. I think it's time to move to the next
Mhm.
section of the body. And I ignored it, because it sounded like me, my
Yeah.
thought. And sure enough, the Reiki master said at the same exact time, I think it's time to move to the next body part. And I went, oh my God, and then class ended. I was like, maybe I knew something. Maybe I'm not it won't come. I knew nothing about any of this, the different kinds of intuition and the way it comes. So I had direct knowing, but it felt like my mind. So it was harder for me to. So I asked for a backup plan, and my backup is feeling and sensing. So I can
Yeah.
feel the truth of what I'm getting.
Hmm. Yeah. Being an empath. That's a
Yeah.
big part of facilitating healing,
Yeah.
is feeling what that person is feeling, but yet not taking it on, as you said earlier. That's a
Having
big,
it inform you without having it overwhelm you.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's been a journey.
MarBeth, I know your healing power, and I have been on the receiving end many times from this sweet lady. So, talk to us about what you're bringing when we do the healing circles.
Well, I have been a student and teacher of A Course in Miracles going back almost 40 years, and it totally transformed my life. And one day, when I was leaving my marriage, I got a vision, and I saw myself in the crystal shop down the street, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I went over there. I didn't know why I had the vision, but I went there, and they were having a Reiki circle. And so I experienced the Reiki circle, and then I signed up that night, and it totally opened me up to, it was like, wow, this is amazing. At the same time, I learned about quantum touch. And so, and I was also open, Donna Eden was doing her training in Costa Rica. I signed up for that, but my Reiki master said, you can't take all this stuff on at the same time. Learn one path. So I did. I canceled Donna Eden and I went with the Reiki, but I also added quantum touch so people would look at me in the healing circle because I was doing quantum touch in the Reiki. And, but that was just the beginning. I've studied so many different modalities. And, it's just been just my path from that moment on. It's like, okay. And I've learned so many different things, and everything just adds something more to what it is. And, just holding the space for the healing, being what we were told in Reiki was being the garden hose. But, like I've had experiences, of course, with the angels where they've shown up, and Kuan Yin has shown up in healings. And I've had fairies have been showing up recently, which has been very interesting and very powerful. Um, I think it's a matter of being just open to anything that shows up because, um, like I've had things that I've never learned, but that will show up in a healing, and then somebody will say, oh, you just did such and such, which I never studied. So, it's just, I just love the process. And it's just the thing that happened that was like most exciting for me, that really tuned me into the powers of being an empath as a healer. I remember I was on with an introductory session with a fellow in Germany, and all of a sudden I felt this heaviness in my chest. It was like, oh, what is this? And immediately I got that he was grieving, and I just wrote down the information. Then I felt a stabbing in my back. It was like, oh, betrayal. So I wrote it down. And then I felt this clenching in my solar plexus. And it was like, oh, that's about his relationship with some other people. And I just wrote down, I got all of these different indicators. And then I just asked his body. Now, I was in Florida, he was in Germany. And I just said to his body, telepathically, how do you want me to proceed? And it told me, I did it. And it was like everything went click, 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 click. And it was like, wow, what just happened? So that just introduced like a whole different way of working. And it just keeps shifting and changing because it's all intuitive.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think that's the greatest gift that has opened up for all of us is our intuition is really cranking. And my Reiki master said the same thing, MarBeth, that don't go. I was so intrigued by so many paths. I wanted to take them all. I'm an eternal student, so
Yep.
I love being a student.
Hmm.
And she really nipped that in the early days, and she said, "Go deeper where you are. Just go deeper." So all those people who are hearing, "I should study this, and then maybe this, and then maybe," just go deeper into the modality that you're in, and allow the rest of you to open up. Because there's so much that we can learn, not that's taught to us, but that will show up when we're in service to someone
Yeah.
else's healing. When we truly are in service to their healing, then everything is right there that we need. But we can get caught up in modalities, and techniques, and not be listening. So I think the strength of three of us is our intuition. We actually live by our intuition. I don't make a decision in my life, and I know you guys don't either. Um, Scheduling everything is intuition. So
Everything.
everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because like after I heard the message that I was going to be a healer, I'm like, no. And I just kind of like, it's like, no, not me. But although I did take, I think, Reiki 1 at the time, somebody had offered to teach it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll learn it. I wasn't overly enthused with it, but it was, I could feel it. My hands would get hot and I would feel the healing. But then, about 6 months after I got that message, I got a download and they presented a healing modality to me that works with the chakra system and it works with the angels and the spirit guides. And it's so beautiful. It's called Time Heals. And I have worked with that modality for years now, teaching it and using it. And like MarBeth, what has happened is organically there's been other modalities. I've finally got all the way through the Yushui Reiki. I've learned angelic Reiki, Karuna Ki Reiki, and incorporated that in quantum touch and just bringing in everything that will work together. And all energy healing works with energy. So it doesn't matter really what modality you're using. It's the intention and what we are doing to help that person. But what's interesting to me is when Time Heals was given to me, it just felt like I knew it forever. It was so familiar. And I asked my spirit guides, I'm going, well, what was that all about? How did I just like take to it and not have to really, do a lot of
Mhm.
um, experience with it to really know what I was doing? And they said, because you were just remembering. And that's for all of us. That wasn't just my message.
No.
We're just remembering that we are magnificent and we have done this lifetime after lifetime. We've done it on different dimensions. And so it's just a remembrance of who we are. And I used to think, oh, this is special. I was given this modality. And it's just like, oh, I'm just remembering that I know how to do this.
It
I
is special, though. There's something
It is
really
special,
special.
and we've been around before. All of us.
Yeah.
This is not our first rodeo for sure. I was asked to teach a course called Divine Human, and I was woken up in the morning with this amazing download and sacred key, and I was told there were three keys, and I only got the first one, and they said book a 6-month course, and I only had the one key and one way to teach about it. But what happened once I said yes is I had a 4-hour channeled session where I remembered teaching it in Egypt, and I was in the pyramids teaching other. Anyway, it was amazing. So I think that yes is really important. And
Oh, wow.
the other thing about the modalities, um, people would ask me all the time, well, what do you think I should do? Chiropractic or acupuncture or this or that? What's the best? And I would never answer a modality. I would say, find the person that is a master of the modality and don't leave their side.
Right. Yeah.
Find somebody who totally lives, breathes, and imbibes their modality and has gone to the depth of mastery in that, and that will be amazing healing. It doesn't matter what the teachings or techniques are.
Right. Oh my gosh, this makes me even more super excited about our healing circles. And so, who would like to explain the beginning date and how this is going to work?
Well, we're getting all of this up over the next week or so on our website. We'll have a page for our healing circles. And so it will be by donation. So we'll have a suggested donation, and we'll go from there, and the three of us will be working together as we do to send energy throughout the healing circle. And I think there'll be a teaching component to it as well. And also, we'll be checking in to see what the feedback is. What are you experiencing? Do you want to add to that?
I I think the empowerment piece is definitely important to show people how they can do it. So teaching may come up as part of it rather than us just doing the healing. But I did want to say that donations are all to support 10 million for world peace. So
Yes.
this is our effort to do some fundraising and donate all of the proceeds to keeping the project going.
Yes.
We think it's a really important project, and so and then we're going to have another aspect. Did you want to talk about that?
Sure. Why don't you talk about it, Kumari?
Well, we thought about in the group setting, the first will be donation based, and then the second would be more personal healing. I've done this for years in my group, and interestingly, I just closed it. I was guided to close it. I had nothing in mind, and then the next day we talk, and it birthed with the three of you. So it's like I wasn't offline for a second before I was back in another circle, just more fun. So more playmates.
But it's all about creating more peace because
Yes, because
yeah,
as we clear everyone's blocks to feeling better and better and better and better, we're able to sustain those higher vibrational feelings, of love and harmony and peace and compassion, be more kind. And all of that has that vibrational ripple effect. So the more we can heal ourselves, and of course, I'm really excited because I get to play with the two of you, and I know that as we match our energies, when I have brought my healers in to teach together, there's an exponential component of, connecting and matching our energy vibration, and something expands from that. So it's like we can't hit that note individually, but together we'll be able to hit higher and higher notes, I believe, of those
yeah.
peaceful tones that we're all trying to live in.
So, like the Course in Miracles said, we'll be clearing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's just an illusion anyway that there are blocks. But what we're doing is opening up that space for each person to realize that and to realize our own individual magnificence, and that there's nothing that can keep us separate from our creator, from each other. But our human brain tells us a different story, so we're going to be story crushing.
the
Story
dramas and traumas that we collected over the years.
and helping people remember who they are,
Yeah.
that they are love, they are peace, and we're all created in the image of our source. So that's
And that's the ultimate healing vibration, is that
yeah.
of love. And from that comes a world in peace. When we're at that vibration of love, then the 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 I can't think of the word. The result is peace happens. So the love that heals everything, that's the power of the universe, the love that flows through us all, and the person loving themselves in whatever state they're in is what dissolves everything.
I can already feel the elevated vibration in these circles. You tune in, you can already see and feel the results.
Yeah, you
We're
really.
lining up right now. You can feel it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like what we're doing with the meditations. Our energy is combining,
Yeah.
and that energy goes out as a wave into the world, and it's a ripple effect. So, yeah, this is going to be magnificent. And I see that there's going to be a lot of people stepping up to really make a difference in the world for peace. And that is our final goal, is for each of us to have that inner peace so that we can spread that out into the world. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's.
excited.
I'm excited about it. We won't have the page up. Probably it'll maybe be about another week or so before that happens, as our web lady is on a cruise.
Just Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I
Thanksgiving
know
day
we
cruise.
haven't talked about this, I don't think, but do you think it will be a jot form sign up, MarBeth, like we've been doing with other things where
I
people
think
participate?
it could be a jot form sign up, or we'll have to see how that's going to be. I think there'll be a specific page and, and a suggested donation that they would pay on the page.
Okay.
But there's two parts to it because there's the group Masters Healing Circle, and then there's the individual healing that will happen for individuals in the group, and that will be another suggested donation.
And at that group, it will still be a group setting, but people will step forward and ask for a very specific healing around a very specific whatever is going on in each of
Right.
those. And of course, we'll keep the story part short and just get to the energy that needs to.
So, yeah, we want to keep the story short so we can
Won't need to get
get
in.
that energy happening.
Well, not only that,
Hmm.
people feel comfortable sharing because they don't have to share the who, what, where, when, who did this. None of the backstory is necessary for us to work with the healing, so they don't have to feel, shy.
Right. I know that we can also feel where they're holding their issues.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
we
it's,
know that, and we can direct our energy toward removing that block.
yeah, and I've done this for years as well, and you can uh, get very little to work with and do the healing without
Absolutely.
names and without feeling people having to reveal anything that they feel uncomfortable revealing in a group setting. So
Of
I
course.
just wanted to say that there's a level of safety and ease in the personal healing part that I know will happen for people because they don't have to go too deep into.
And I love that it's going to be online
Yeah.
because there really isn't any distance. We don't need to be physically present with the people that we're working with.
No, I've been doing healing long distance for over 30 years on the phone, and that was before internet and Zoom and all. So we have added touch here. But
I've been doing the distant healing right after Reiki 1.
mm,
I started doing it even though I hadn't been taught it.
yeah, I felt that too.
Right.
But
Yeah.
so online, the cool part about doing personal healing in a group is that, and this has happened every time I've done this, and I've done this for, I don't know, I think 10 years, that every issue gets distilled down to the same things. We all struggle with the same feelings, the same hurts, the same doubts. And it's amazing how one person's issue will come up and everybody afterwards said, I totally got that healing around blah, 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 and felt it. And so it's a shared personal experience, which is exponential as well. So that's
Yeah.
that's really powerful when people get into more personal healing with the second group that we're going to create. That everybody learns from each other. It's beautiful.
And in the tapping, the emotional freedom technique, they call it borrowing benefits,
Ah,
right? You're working with one person, but everybody else is
benefits.
all of a sudden feeling like, oh, I feel so much better.
And it happens anyway because we're all intuitive, but people can go into that intending, well, I don't really want to share about this scenario right now, but I'm telling you, it will get dealt with
Yeah.
between the three of us, and someone else
Absolutely.
steps forward. It will be amazing how much gets dealt with, even if you don't um, step up personally and share. So,
So exciting. So, anyone who's interested in attending the Healing Circle, check out the web page on 10 Million for World Peace, which will happen after the weekend. This is
Yeah,
a
the healing
holiday
circle is going
coming
to
out. So,
begin. It's going to begin January 6th.
right. Yeah. So, there's got some time to sign up for it. But
But
definitely put that on your calendar.
So
December.
also, I wanted to mention that Giving Tuesday is a week from today,
Oh,
and we would really appreciate any donations, recurring donations would really make a difference. I believe we may have a gift for donations above a certain amount. I'll be sending out an email in the next day or so, and we'll see, kind of entice you guys.
Yeah, we're so grateful for those who have signed up for recurring donations.
Very
And
much
the
so.
ones, yeah, all of your support means so much to us. You know, we meet regularly. We spend a lot of time and effort in bringing things forward for peace and for the benefit of all, to help us to raise our vibration and be the best we can be here on this planet. So thank you to everyone who supports us, whether it's your energy, your money, however you help us. The volunteers. Let's talk about our volunteers. They're amazing, aren't they?
Oh, amazing. Absolutely. So, yes, we have some
we're
amazing
all
volunteers.
volunteers as well. I just wanted to say
We are totally volunteers. There is no money that is, in
going to,
Yeah.
fact, it's gone the other way. There's
yes.
more money going in from us than is coming out at all. It's not coming out. So,
There's ongoing expenses for any online project, and
Yeah.
that's what
there is.
we need some.
Yeah. Between virtual assistants and the people who are coaching us and
Yep.
helping us to create this. And also, we'll be um, working with Google AdWords. Google happens to help nonprofits by giving them $10,000 in AdWords, but it's a little complicated to use them. And none of us are technically savvy. So we're going to have to bring other people in to help us to bring more people, make them more aware of the work that we're doing so that we can create a higher vibrational frequency on the planet, bring more people into the unified field during our meditations. So, and also in education and to create peace ambassadors. Got a lot of stuff going on here, and we always can use your help.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, there's a lot to it. It's a big machine, and we got to keep it oiled and keep it moving forward.
Bed.
Yeah. So anything else, ladies, that you can think of that we want to share about 10 million for world peace?
I guess I want to share about the vision I had when we talked about the training for peace ambassadors. I'm not sure what we'll call it exactly, but this idea I've had for years, and I didn't know how to go about it, but that we are only three, and everybody could begin to share the techniques. There's so many techniques I know that will help
All
foster,
of us,
yeah,
all of us.
foster every energy that we want, all the emotions that we want, the compassion, the harmony, the peace. And the more and more people are savvy with how to shift into those states and can share that, the better. So I thought, oh my gosh, I've wanted to teach children and teens, because when I work with them, they just light up. I remember having a teen say, and she had been a runaway and had been adopted, was in foster care, and I knew the adoptive parents. And she did one session with me, and she had gotten into drugs and living on the street and everything. She had a rough life, and we did just one technique, and she experienced bliss. She got so high, and she opened her eyes after the session, and she said, "Kumari, if everybody had this, they wouldn't need the drugs."
Yeah, I agree.
And so ever since then, I've been thinking I want to create programs geared toward young people to take that out in their world, in their community, in the schools. And so I see potential for these techniques and these programs for everybody to be empowered to take it to their own communities. We can't possibly teach enough or do enough, but if we teach the teachers, then they go out into their relationships and their homes and their communities, their churches, and anywhere, in their schools and businesses, and all of a sudden there's there's an exponential ripple effect. So I'm excited about the potential of our vision as we begin to flesh it out.
It's very exciting.
It is. And thank you for bringing that up about the Peace Ambassador program that we want to start, or that we will start. I'm going to start
Yes, that we
using
are
that vocabulary, that we are starting. And yeah, so if that's something that you're interested in, if you're hearing this and you say, oh, well, that sounds like something I might like to do, and just let us know. You know, we'd love to hear from the people who are interested in what we're doing. Send us a message and let us know that you'd like to be more involved, you'd like to volunteer. Maybe you think, oh, I don't have enough time to volunteer. Even 1 or 2 hours a week is better than nothing. And so we
Absolutely.
can use all the help we can get from, all the different sources. So you might have a talent that we are looking for. That happened just today when we were talking to somebody, and it's like, oh, you know how to do that. Well, okay then.
And
Yeah,
sometimes sharing it, just sitting down and thinking for a few moments, who do you know
Mhm.
that you can share this with? And that's the easiest volunteering there is just
Yeah.
move it out in your own circle. You don't have to have a list of thousands of people to be an effective sharer. And that's always incredible.
It is. Oh, well, ladies, oh my gosh, look at the time. I cannot believe we've talked for an hour about 10 million for world peace, but we have. And so I would like for each of you to share with how people can get in touch with you individually. You can reach any of us at 10millionforworldpeace.org, but how does someone reach you if they've been interested in what they heard you say today and what they think that you might be able to help them with? How do they reach out? And if you have any last words about peace, any thoughts, then please share that as well. Kumari?
KumariHealing.com is my main website. I have another website with all my courses called DivineHumanInstitute.com. But you can reach me at Kumari Healing, that's Kumari, and then the word
why
healing.com.
don't you put it in the chat? I don't
You
know,
can
will
do
people
that.
see the chat afterwards?
You can do that.
You could do that, and then you could flash it on the screen.
And oh, final words. What came to me was a little video I did for 10 Million for World Peace. And the phrase came to me in my meditation that peace is an inside job. And as each of us dedicates our lives, our state, our consciousness, our energy, our emotions to more and more harmony and happiness, then we are, by the nature of energy and the nature of frequency and the nature of being in a vibrational universe, we are putting out a ripple, whether or not we ever teach or become a healer. And so peace is an inside job, and just reminding myself that really.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. And we have our MarBeth.
So I have my personal website, which is marbethdunn.com. And then I also have a free ebook, 7 Easy Ways to Harness the Power of Miracles. The alternate name is the Miracle Mama. So, so you can access a free gift, the 7 Easy Ways to Harness the Power of Miracles at yourmiraclepower.com. So what can I say except that we are all, the essence of our being is always love. It's who we are, and we're just kind of wearing these physical suits, but we're basically light beings. You can't contain us in these physical suits. We're just so much greater. We're limitless beings. We're created in the image of our Creator. No limits. So think about that. We're all energy. We're all broadcasting energy. And we're like the World Wide Web. Humanity's like the World Wide Web. We are all interconnected. There's all of us. We We need to get along. We're all part of the same body, the same family, and we all need to figure it out. And we don't need to do it alone. We can always ask for divine help, and we'll also be helping with our upcoming Masters Healing Circle.
Beautiful. So thank you, ladies, for sharing your resources. You can reach me at angelspeakers.com. I think I need to get, okay, there we go. Angelspeakers.com, there's a contact page, and you can just send me a message through there. And every time I do a broadcast, whatever it might be, I encourage everyone to stay in your hearts. When we breathe into our heart center, it brings us into a connection with our higher self, our higher power, and just realizing that we are magnificent. It's when we step out of our heart that we start trying to analyze things and looking at the imperfect. But staying in that heart, that brings you the peace inside that we all are seeking. We came here knowing that we were magnificent, but somehow we got taught other things in the world. So going back home is going into your heart and really realizing that, yeah, that's where it's at. That's where we can stay in that beautiful energy and work from that environment to bring more peace into our world. Thank you to all the listeners that came in today. Thank you, Kumari. Thank you, MarBeth. I love working with both you ladies. It has been such an adventure, and it's revving up to a higher level now with what we're adding in our organization. And I really appreciate both of you and the work that we're doing together. Thank you so much. So, as I said, everyone, stay in your heart and stay blessed. And leaving you with a namaste, y'all. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Teri.